you're told to go to college, get a good education so that you can find a good job. But did anyone warn you about the debt that you can easily accumulate when taking out student loans? Consider this for a moment. Just look at these numbers. The average cost of attending a 4-year in-state public university is around $15,000. Head to a private school and it'll likely cost you some $36,000. The average student aid, such as grants, not including loans, is around $5,400 and $14,000 respectively. And it may surprise you, take a look at that number right there, that in 2008, 2/3 of students graduated with debt averaging about $23,000. And many are having problems repaying their student loans. Look at the interest level there, 7.2%. You're talking about student loans default rate. That's how many people likely have a very difficult time paying back all that money. So as many students prepare to leave college behind, it won't be long before their loans are actually due. So what should they do if they run into problems when it's time to repay? And can they depend on Congress for help? Well, I want to bring in Valisha Cooks. She has testified on Capitol Hill last month about the burden that she is facing trying to repay her loans. They were mostly private student loans. I'm also joined by Chris Markowski, the man known as the Watchdog on Wall Street. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so Valisha, give me an idea. What did you testify? What did you tell leaders on Capitol Hill to really hit home the message of how hard it is to pay back those crazy loans? Valisha, can you hear me? Okay, we're going to try and work out the audio problems on that because clearly we have them. All right, so Chris, how about for you? Wait a minute, this is really sad, is it not? We're talking about students who go to college, they think they're doing the right thing, and then they get saddled with huge debt before they even find a job. Where's the help?
I was there too. I was at that point too, working
How long did it take
2-3 jobs. Took a long time, probably about 10, 12 years before I got it all paid off. And the funny thing is, we're watching all these congressional hearings in regards to banks giving loans to people for homes that they shouldn't have. I've got a novel concept. Why not we just eliminate student loans altogether? If we eliminated follow me here. If we had no student loans, then colleges and universities would have to price their product accordingly. They'd have to price it so what people could afford. The reason why we've got such high prices with colleges and universities, and it's so inflationary, is because they keep handing out money. You get the government out of this, you get the loan business out of it, the prices will drop.
So wait a minute, so you're blaming because there are loans being made available,
yes,
grants, etc., that gives institutions an excuse to jack up the rate. So we're looking
Absolutely.
at institutions that are $15,000 if you're in state. We're talking about some private universities, $39,000, $50,000 a year. And the problem is because there's too much help being offered to people?
Absolutely. It's textbook inflation. That's exactly what happens with the Federal Reserve prints too much money. The price of things are going to go up. Let's get abstract here. If the government all of a sudden got upset because Starbucks coffee was too expensive, let's say it was $10 a cup, and they started subsidizing the coffee at $5 a cup, what are they going to do? Starbucks is going to raise their price. Another $5 is going to be $15 a cup. That's exactly what happens with colleges and universities.
Okay, so Chris, say that's being put under consideration. That is not helping you, Valisha, right now, correct? You're a single mom. You're saddled with $90,000 in student loan debt. You have filed for bankruptcy protection, but that hasn't helped. So what is it that you told lawmakers that needs to happen right now that would directly impact you?
Well, basically, what I propose is that there just needs to be some type of options for us. With my federal loans, I was able to get an income-based repayment plan, which was pretty reasonable for me. And with about $30,000 worth of debt, the payments are about $124 a month. But with my private education loans, the payments were $600 or $700 a month. So that, along with personal debt, it was just no way for me to manage.
So do you feel like it's an impossibility to even see that debt being zero one day?
Of course, because when I originally borrowed the loan, it was only $36,000, and now in just 3 short years, it's gone up to $53,000. So there's just, it doesn't seem to be an end.
So where's the hope? Did you feel any real compassion when you were on Capitol Hill? Did you feel like some reasonable change really is in your sight?
Well, I would hope so. I felt that I was really listened to, and I felt that before they had an idea that if they passed this law, that somehow people would come out in drones to take advantage of the situation, and I was there basically to give a face to the average person that goes to college and incurs this type of burden. And it's not so much that we're looking to go to school to get rich and live wealthy off of student loans, because that's just not the reality. The reality is that we borrow the money to go to school, and I only took the amount that I needed to go, and then now it's just an impossible situation. All I did was try to better my life and educate myself.
And so you heard Chris's proposal. He was saying, you know what, if you take the loans, the grants out of the equation, then that would reduce the incentive that a lot of colleges have to jack up their rates. You think you buy that?
Maybe in theory, but in actuality, how many people would afford to go to college, and is that a reality that they price accordingly?
Okay, so Chris, let me bring you back in. So in March, President Obama signed new legislation that ends the subsidies paid to private lenders. Now the Education Department wants to provide all federal loans. Is this a compromise in your view?
Well, it is and it isn't. All right, you're getting the private part out of it. I feel bad for the young lady's situation. I don't know what interest rates that she was having to pay, that she saw such an increase in her principal in such a short period of time. That's crazy. But it also, you know, part of this legislation that they're putting forward, the taxpayer is going to also pay a huge burden in regards to the fact that there's certain scenarios where if you're getting into public service, the taxpayer is going to be able to have to basically pay off people's loans. So I'm not, too thrilled with all of that. But to explain once again, because I don't think she understands, when you're saying in theory, the prices are going to have to go down. They have no choice, because if a college and university has to fill seats, they have to obviously fill those seats. They're going to have to put bodies in those seats. They're going to have to price it accordingly. When the government steps in and starts giving loans and pushing people into these places, I think it's no different than credit cards.
But Chris, I wonder, when you say they have to because they want to fill the seats, but aren't we also seeing across the country universities, whether they be private, but particularly the public ones, who are making such significant cuts, in large part because they don't have the budget anymore, and so it means there are fewer teachers. There is a smaller or a shrinking student body.
When I watch an SEC football game and I see 100,000 people in those seats, it makes me say, where's that money going? Harvard University's endowment is at close to $30 billion? The interest on that money alone could pay for every student's tuition at that entire school.
Okay,
those are just the facts.
So, Chris, right now, before I let you guys go, if there's another student out there or graduate, just like Felicia, who says, I'm struggling to pay back my debt, what is the window of opportunity for any of them right now to either get out of debt or try to expedite the payment of this debt so that they can feel free and concentrate on all those wonderful benefits they got from going to college and now move on with improving their lives?
Well, college and university is an unbelievable benefit, but I'd always recommend to people to try, especially on the undergraduate route, try to go the least expensive as possible. If you have to go part-time, go part-time. Definitely knock off the smaller loans first. You don't have to go the private university route.
All right. Chris Markowski, the man known as the Watchdog on Wall Street. That's a great title. And Felicia Cooks, thanks so much to both of you for joining us. Appreciate it. And hopefully we helped out a lot of people who are feeling just like you, Felicia, just kind of crunched right now with just way too much college debt. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank
you
for having me.
Pleasure.